Hey guys, I'm going to talk about crypto today. If you've been following my videos, you know that I use technical analysis and I look at stocks, ETFs, and crypto. And yesterday I tweeted this crypto in a pullback lately, and I put ADA. Bitcoin stuck below 200 and ETH below 50. So this is just a screenshot of the ADA chart. And you can see here that, so I've got the 26th, today's the 28th. Just after the 26th, we had these lower highs here, and what I did was I drew a line back down here. Now, the stock had been sort of supported at the 50-day moving average. And then, so I wanted to see right here if it was going to support at the 50-day. And when it started to break down below, I was getting concerned, like right here, this candle closed below. These are 1 hour candles. So I just started to sense that there was an issue. Then we had this big candle up, but it bounced, you can see here, with a wick at the 50 on the 1 hour chart. And so this kind of scared me. The other thing I mentioned was that Bitcoin was below a 50 and a 200. So if we go to trading view, you can see we have a ton of red here with huge drops from 19%. This is just in the morning, Friday morning at 6 a.m. right now. So I just wanted to sort of talk about what I was doing. So when you look at I'll switch to a daily chart. If you want to get trading view, I've got the pro version because I was using the free version. You can check out a link in the description. I use TC2000 for stocks and ETFs, but for crypto, I'm using trading view. There's a few reasons. These are all real-time amounts. So like a lot of times the stocks will be delayed by 15 minutes. And also I have ratio charts in a watch list, and I use alerts because these things move really quickly. So I've talked about that in a previous video, but when you're looking at, so what was happening was Bitcoin had dropped a lot, and then when I had this rebound here, I bought the dip, which I don't normally do because it's in a downtrend, but I just thought, crypto's dropped from 65,000 down to like 30, like 50, just over 50%. So I wanted to get in and get establish, an entry point. This is more of a long-term, situation, but then after that initial opportunity, I noticed that it hit the 50 or the 200-day moving average, and we had these little dojis right at the 200 here. So when it was sort of stabilizing and not much was really happening. So I'd made some gains from the lower up to this point. But a lot of times when you're trading, you can get in, if things get really far away from the moving averages, like the 50 and that, way down, stochastics are really low. You can get an opportunity to get in and trade it up into a moving average. And then it might bounce and start going down. If it gets above the moving average, you can get in between the 200 and the 50 sort of thing. So there's like opportunities to get in between those moving averages. And then once it gets up above the 50, you could potentially ride that up for a while. But once I saw it stuck here, I was getting concerned. So then I switched to the shorter duration, and I'll just show Ethereum because those are the two big ones to start with. This one was the same sort of situation. It came almost down to 200. I bought in because I thought this was just a short-term China fear sort of thing, and Elon Musk and that. So, or a sell-off, from a big, huge parabolic run. So usually it'll sort of stall at the 50, and it got a bit above it, but then it came back down. So now at this point we are below the 50-day moving average. This chart switches from day to day at 8 o'clock p.m. So this candle is as of 8 p.m. last night. But what happened was I was looking at the charts because, like I said, you know, it's very quick moving and it is sort of stalled. I went to a 1 hour chart and just to kind of see what was happening. And what I did on a lot of these charts was I drew a line here, and I saw that these were a lot of times supported at a 50-day or a 50-hour chart, but now it was breaking down. And there was a whole bunch of these that I drew arrows on as of last night. I didn't, extend them this morning, but I noticed that the 50 was starting to break down, and there were lower highs here. And the momentum was looking bad, like this price percent oscillator was in this decline here. So ones that I were following were Solana, like the main ones, the big ones that I wanted to follow. This one here was the same thing, and you had a 200. It was starting to go down below. So I drew this line of lower highs, and I wanted to see it break up above that, and it wasn't doing that. So I ended up selling everything in the Binance last night. Because this trades 24/7 as well, I can't watch this thing at night when I go to bed. So Chainlink was another one. A lot of scenarios were similar. It was supporting at the 50 since it had been coming up, but then it was starting to close below the 50 with a descending, lower highs. So that's mainly what I wanted to say. This might not last, too long, but because the Bitcoin and the Ethereum were below their 50 and 200, and I zoomed in and noticed that we're starting to break down locally. So from a trading perspective, I just sensed that, I wanted to see what was going on at a shorter duration. And, that could be a short-lived thing. If you go to a shorter duration, that might only be a short-lived issue. But like I said, with those other ones being stuck at the 50 and the 200, I thought they could go down from there. Like they've hit that 50 and 200, and now they're going to create. And so what will happen is with a lot of these stocks, if I go back to a 1 day, you've now established a lower high at this point. So, it's not 100%. You have to give it time sometimes, but we had this drop and now we have a lower high. And so there's a possibility that things decline from there. Like with Bitcoin or whatever, you were hoping, for a pullback, but now if you decline from there, you have a potentially lower high and a resistance at that 200. So I'm going to wait to see what happens when that plays out from here. So this is just happening as of last night. So here we have this lower high established. So for a full downtrend, you'd want to see a break of this downtrend. So for this one, the Ethereum would have to hit probably below the 200, or at least this, roughly 2000 level to establish a lower low as well. But, it may support at the 200. So yeah, if you want to get to TradingView Pro, you can use, I've got like a relative strength, different watch lists. So I've got one that just divides the two ratio charts, and I can find the strongest, ETFs that are in a trend. That sort of helped me find Matic. This is a relative chart, so you can see that we're in an uptrend with Matic, and you had a pullback, and we're having another one, but there's basically an uptrend. So Matic is actually stronger. And if you compare ADA to like ETH, so Ethereum is probably like the best, in terms of the biggest market cap. But you can see that Cardano was starting to break up on an uptrend because of the proof of stake and some of the smart contracts that are coming out. And so this one was establishing an uptrend. So this ratio charts is a whole separate set of a watch list. So hopefully you enjoy that, and we'll talk to you in the next video.